Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, these are my thoughts on that absolutely horrific, embarrassing, atrocious performance and result against Liverpool. So, as always, I'll start with the lineup. It was Petrovic in goal, with Disasi on the right, Thiago Silva, Chile, and Ben Chilwell as the defence. Caicedo and Enzo in our midfield with Gallagher just in front. And then on the right, Madueke, and on the left, Sterling. And then up front as our kind of false nine, it was Cole Palmer. And obviously, going into this match, Chelsea had a good opportunity to essentially really close the gap onto sixth position. I think they were, how many points were they? They were going into the game, we were about 4 points off sixth, obviously, which is a Europa League spot, which I would take at the end of the season. We were 4 points. I mean, obviously, we were never going to win, but even a draw would have taken us up to eighth, and again, taken us within 3 points of that sixth position. So into the first half, within the first 5 minutes, I think it was, Chelsea should have had a penalty. I mean, it's such a clear and blatant penalty that Van Dijk brings down Conor Gallagher. It's a penalty. I don't care where you are. I don't care what team you're playing. Liverpool get that. We would get that at Stamford Bridge. Liverpool would get that at Anfield, and they did kind of later on. It's a stonewall penalty in the first 5 minutes. It's just shocking. What's the point of VAR? What's the point of this technology when these officials are so bad at their jobs? Like Tierney today, and absolutely, I don't know. I don't even know what's worse. I don't know what's worse. I don't know Chelsea. I don't know what's worse. How Chelsea played, or how bad this officiating was. It's a disgrace, and it's an absolute farce. It's a blatant penalty, and the people of VAR need to be sacked. And in my eyes, Tierney should also be sacked. Shocking refereeing. But yeah, obviously in the first 5 minutes, Chelsea should have had a penalty. Don't get the penalty for some unknown reason. And yeah, then Liverpool kind of just start absolutely dominating. They start completely taking control. I mean, Liverpool were outstanding in the first half. They were thoroughly the better team. Chelsea didn't really do anything after that whole penalty incident, which is in the first 5 minutes. Chelsea didn't do anything for the rest of the match. The players looked completely lost. I didn't really understand how Poch set us up. It felt like Liverpool were consistently cutting through our midfield like they were non-existent. And Liverpool had complete control. I mean, the reality is it could have been a very humiliating first half score-wise had it not been for Petrovic and goal, who made some sensational saves, including one where I think the ball goes over the top. Darwin Nunez first time shoots, and then I think Petrovic pushes it onto the post. In my eyes, Petrovic is probably the only positive thing about that first half, and he was sensational. For Liverpool's first goal, it's diabolical defending. I mean, there's not much else you can say about it. It's just absolutely atrocious defending between. I think it's Chile and Thiago Silva. Jota just slaloms through them, cuts through them like they're not even there. I don't know what they're doing. And then yeah, great finish by Jota. But again, he's a brilliant player. But yeah, so easy. Liverpool were making Chelsea look like a real mid-table. Maybe that's a bit generous. I would say a relegation level team. We looked like a team fighting relegation. That's how bad Chelsea looked against this Liverpool side. It was astounding how poor we were. And their second goal was just absolutely just. I'm miffed by how bad we were. I think Chilwell, for some reason, is all the way in the centre of the pitch. I still think it should have been a foul on Chilwell, but he didn't get it, and that meant that Bradley, the young Liverpool player who is outstanding, and Liverpool definitely have a really good player in their hands, takes the ball down, great finish, 2-0 Liverpool. Game is done. Game is completely done at that point, and Chelsea players start losing their heads as well. We start getting needless yellow cards. It was just really. There was no in-game management by Poch. There was no in-game management by the players. Liverpool got their second goal. Chelsea just capitulated. And then right at the end of the first half, Liverpool get a penalty. Why am I not surprised they get a penalty? If you're not going to give Conor Gallagher's penalty, then you cannot give this penalty for Liverpool. It's just a farce. But because it's Liverpool and it's at Anfield, they get the penalty decision, even though they shouldn't have. But yeah, Chelsea were lucky then because Darwin Nunez hits the post. And in fact, if Darwin Nunez wasn't such an atrocious goal scorer, wasn't such an atrocious player, Chelsea probably could have conceded about 4 or 5 more in the first half. But yeah, he hits the woodwork. Chelsea get very lucky that they go in at halftime 2-0. Obviously, if we got the penalty in the first 5 minutes, who knows what would have happened? But penalty aside, it's just inexcusable. That first half of football was one of the worst halves I've ever seen Chelsea play just ever. And that's saying something considering how bad we were last year. Yeah, and you go in at half time and you're thinking, yeah, just hopefully Pochettino can just do something and then a little bit of life can be put into these players. But yes, we go in at half time 2-0, and then hopefully the second half is better. So we're into the second half, and Poch makes a triple change. Gallagher comes off, Chilwell comes off, Madueke comes off. All players who are absolutely atrocious in the first half. To be honest, you could have taken the entire starting 11 outside of Petrovic off, and I would have no issue. Obviously, you can't do that, but still. So we bring on Nkuku, Gusto, and Mudryk. And in the first few minutes, we almost get a goal back. This team genuinely give me the biggest headache alive. Gusto down the right hand side, brilliant ball into the box. I don't know how Mudryk doesn't get it on target. He's such a speedy player, but he is so bad at shooting. I don't get it. I don't get how a professional footballer can't get that on target. But yes, so absolutely atrocious by him. Embarrassing, really. And then 10 minutes, I think it's the 65th minute. Bradley, again, brilliant player for them. On the right-hand side, crosses the ball into the box. And I think between Thiago Silva and Disasi this time, neither one of them could get the ball before Szoboszlai. And from what I was reading, I think this is what Szoboszlai said, that was his first ever headed goal. So, of course, Chelsea had to give that to... Of course, his first ever headed goal had to be against Chelsea. Again, absolutely unforgivable level of defending. But again, throughout this match, I couldn't tell you what sort of system we were playing. I couldn't tell you what sort of tactics Poch was implementing. I couldn't tell you anything. I couldn't tell you any of what we've been doing on the training ground. Chelsea looked absolutely atrocious, and again, they just capitulate. The second it gets too tough for them, they just fold. We then have Kearney coming on, which is great to see, and he actually combined well. I think it was the 71st minute, and Nkuku gets a goal. Again, I've said there was like 2 bright spots in the whole match. The only 2 bright spots were Petrovic, he was outstanding in goal, and for me is 1000% the number 1 goalkeeper now, and Nkuku. Nkuku, brilliant finish. I mean, that was outstanding, and that's exactly what. That's the one positive I can really take is that Nkuku's back, and he was outstanding, and that was a brilliant finish, and it felt like a real consolation goal. However, I think it was like 2 minutes, maybe less than 2 minutes after we scored, should have had a penalty. Should have had a second penalty. like the first penalty in the first 5 minutes was a piss take that we didn't get it. The second one was a disgrace. Van Dijk just kicked straight through Nkuku. There's no difference between Jota's penalty and Nkuku's should have been penalty. And again, Tierney, the referee, who genuinely I stand by, this guy needs to be sacked in the next few days. He's an abysmal official. He refused to give it. And the person at VAR, who I'm pretty sure got demoted a year ago because he was dreadful at his job, again, just didn't really care about it. But, and that would have made it 3-2. That could have made it 3-2. And then who knows? Chelsea could have got a really undeserved point. Chelsea were atrocious. Everything about Chelsea was atrocious. Players were an embarrassment. The officiating was a disgrace. And then to top it off, right in the last 5 minutes after that, last 10 minutes of the match, Diaz gets a goal. The assist was from Nunez, obviously, gets a goal 4-1, and this goes down as one of the most humiliating matches I can remember in terms of performance. This is really not a good result. I mean, it's a disgraceful result, but it's a really bad performance as well. We obviously play Liverpool right at the end of February in the Carabao Cup final. I mean, I'm hoping that the officiating is better, but I'm really hoping that the players actually step up because it's the opportunity to win silverware. I'm really not looking forward to it. Our next match is on the 4th against Wolves. I mean, that's a huge, huge match now. That really is. Wolves are right behind us on the table as well. Mid-table, great. But no, next match against Wolves on the 4th is gigantic. I really, absolutely atrocious. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all on the 4th when we've hopefully gotten a win against Wolves.